doing?
Hey, AJ. I'd like to show you a solution path that I would recommend for a post in the community. And so I've got you here on screen with me. I'm going to remove our pictures so that we don't have to be immortalized on YouTube. But let's take a look at the post together, okay?
Awesome.
Okay.
Let's do that. Yeah.
So regex certain words, and in regex certain words, the author has an input that's a string with repeating sets of wants. Wants more details, wants to view, wants to online view, wants more details. Everything is a want.
Mm-hmm.
So certain words here might be wants, but what if there were other words? I want to see what solutions are posted, and we see the first solution that's posted doesn't really say how it's solved, it just gives you a solution. And it looks like there's a replacement for the word wants with wants preceded by a pipe symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a parsing, and then there's a trimming function to get rid of unnecessary spaces at the end of the strings.
Mm-hmm.
And the next person who solves use a regular expression says, hey, if I don't see a pipe followed by anything, then that's a set of strings.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Ned once said to me, regular expressions are write once, read never. So he's not expecting you to figure out what is it or why is it that I did things. And one of the tools that I have on my palette is this RegEx 101, where if you are looking for something, a string of, let's say, any character, it'll show you all the characters that are there.
Absolutely. I use it that regularly too.
But if you want wants, you'll see that the first wants gets brought in and the second wants gets brought in, but they're different. The first wants isn't preceded by anything. And what you want, I think, is to take all the wants in the middle to the end and replace them with a pipe symbol. And then that would mean that the first one doesn't get included, and it'll be cleaning up all these spaces.
I got it.
So I had built, because of technical issues, it was already built, a solution that I do want to walk through quickly. And that is here in the formula, I'm replacing, just like we said in English and on the other side, space wants with pipe wants. And what's really nice about a formula tool is that it shows you, kind of like the RegEx 101 did, the data preview. And now you can see all these pipes are there. If I didn't have a space there, I'd be seeing a pipe, but it's preceded by a space. And when I work on that later, I'll see trailing spaces, which is why the first person who provided a workflow had to go and put in another tools.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to put that space wants in, and maybe I'll move this up a little bit. And it then says, okay, take that output field, take the delimiter, and split it to rows.
Absolutely.
And let's hit run. And we certainly hope it's going to work. But there it is. Wants. Then what I did was I wanted to use a regular expression.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the regular expression is I wanted to find these groups of wants followed by another group of wants or nothing. And what I'm really doing is I'm tokenizing it. I'm saying each set of these I want to break off into its own row.
Mm-hmm.
And in saying I want to split it to row, the reason why I like a formula tool is that the formula tool, like I said, has this data preview function. And the RegEx tool doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do is I can use a formula tool to approximate it and do things that are actually in the Perl language version variation. The RegEx 101, I didn't use real RegEx
Yeah,
Perl.
which is what Asrix uses. And by the way, your regex expression there will work with any capitalized letter to split it in groups.
Yeah. And so what I've got is gobbledygook, which I had to think through and get right. So it did not come to me originally. But what it's got is it's got a set of data here that are the group. This parentheses here is a group. And that group is group 1. There's one set of parentheses. So this $1 represents I only want group 1. This 0 that's here isn't part of the expression. If you were to go and type another add column, and I'll just say sample. If I use the function regex replace, here I can see is it case insensitive is true is the default. But when I go and I click on it, you lose that comma 1. That's why I've got a comma 0 above. So when I'm building a string, I generally build it by saying, where's the input? And then I'll use a pattern, and I put the pattern in double quotes, and my replacement, I put in single quotes. In this case, it's $1. So here I said replace everything with nothing. And here I can go and start typing in an expression, and there's the group. And this group that I want starts with a word boundary.
Yep.
And then it's followed by an uppercase letter.
Absolutely.
And at the end or outside of this is a space followed by an uppercase letter.
Got it.
Followed by anything.
Whatever it is there.
And the uppercase letter that we see for the wants is actually followed by one of the following characters. It's either followed by a lowercase letter, L, and let me enlarge that for you, followed by a space. So it could be letter or spaces, but there are many of them. There's one or more, and that's why I'm putting this plus sign here. And I'm essentially building it, and I've now got one group that I'm falling in love with. So this expression here, I'm then going to take down to the RegEx tool, and I'm going to copy that in. Now, when I copy that in, I want you to notice it's not perfect.
It's not the same. Yeah.
And so here's the group that I started with. So I'm just taking the group, because that's what I'm interested in. And I'm going to paste that here.
Got it.
And I'm going to hit run. And now, even though the first thing looked really good, My issue is the cell has trailing spaces.
Yeah.
So now I have to come back, trial and error, and say, what's wrong? I need help.
Yeah.
And in this, it's possible, oh, I get it. The grouping actually has to end on lowercase letters. Here I'm saying the group could have a space in it.
Yep.
So what I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're putting the space that separates phrases in the actual group, and that's why it takes the space at the end.
So now I'm saying at the very end of this, you have a /L for lowercase letters, and you have multiple of them, one or more. Now the group, hopefully, cross my fingers, ends without those trailing spaces. I could have used a trim function, but I wanted to get it right. Trial and error. If it doesn't work, if you get stuck, come and ask us in the community for help. But what's really important is that if somebody helps you and gives you a regular expression, you take that regular expression that they gave you, and in this case, like I said, the RegEx doesn't use the /u, so I'm just going to make it a word. Or actually, I could say an uppercase letter is anything in the set of the letters A
You have
to
a
Z.
W, a capital W at the front.
Oh, okay. Let's get rid of that.
Yep.
So I have a group that is followed by a boundary, followed by an uppercase letter, followed by the set of, instead of lowercase, I'm going to say A to Z, followed by a space. First capturing group. Let's remove the group and see if that irregular does not match this. Oh, put the group back in and then say dot star. And let's see if that helps. Again, regular expressions are just meant to frustrate you. This is a video. I'll figure out as soon as I stop recording what it was that I was trying to get at here. I'm just simplifying this a little bit. There we go. The boundary wasn't part of the expression set. And so here I've got first group, second group, third group, fourth group, fifth group that are matching. But what you can do is you can take this expression and it will explain to you how it works. And so it's worthwhile if you see an expression to understand why is it working, and then maybe it'll come up with more options for you and make your solution better. Or you might even just take this explanation, copy it, and paste it into your workflow as a comment so that somebody else can figure out what in the heck it was doing. Let's see, where are you? I'm looking for your video, and there you are. AJ, questions, comments, concerns, anything?
What I was thinking about this is we have a responsibility of explaining what we do, because the people that have a need and post and takes the time to post something in the community, you always must start from the premise that they want to learn and they don't want their jobs done by you, because that's called consulting, not having helping in the community. And for me, is very clear when you try to explain and take the extra mile in explaining to people, so they learn how to build and how to face the next RegEx situation in this case or whatever future problems they might have. And for me, it's taking the time to explain and document how you should solve this. And at the end, if the user says, can you attach the workflow you use to explain this to me? I will be helpful. Okay, I will attach it. But I guess we should take the time, like you're doing right now, to explain exactly how to get there. So the people, so we're nivelating the people upper and not down by done their work. That's my opinion on these situations.
So you don't do your kids' homework for them, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Absolutely. And by the way, I cross some posts where somebody asks you to do their jobs, and I tend not to do that because I think that I'm making more harm than good. I know I can solve it, but the thing is, I want you to learn how to solve it, and that's my mission in this case.
Okay, well, I'm with you on that page. Thank you for helping me. I did post the video that was the wrong video, and you watched it, and you knew that, hey, Mark, this is wrong. So now, thank you.
And by the way, before liking posts, probably you should understand what they're saying.
Right.
And that's a final comment from me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Mark. Bye. Cheers.
Hi, this is MarqueeCReW. I'd like to take you on a little journey with me. Let's take this solved solution of a post, regex certain words, and what we're going to do is we're going to explain to TF05 why and how to solve a problem, as opposed to just here's a solution. I've got a replacement, a split to rows, and then another formula to trim the data. And let's see if anybody else came up with another solution came in and doesn't really have much of an explanation to it. So I may over-explain it, but let's at least explain this. I'm going to take this text and copy it, and I'm going to use a tool here just to show you. Here's regex 101. Now, I'm not necessarily in favor of using a regular expression here, but let's just see what the regex 101 might help me with. If I was looking for wants inside of my string, it's really nice to be able to just, here's my regular expression, WANTS, and how it highlights what it's capturing. This formula here will find the word wants. And theoretically, I could then replace, and let's make it space wants. Every time I see space wants, and I'm picturing this in my eyes, in my head, every time I see space wants, I want to replace it with something like a pipe symbol wants. That's what the first solution did. I'm using a regular expression, which again isn't quite the way to do it. And I'll go through that in Alteryx with you. But here's a tool that I use. I don't use it all the time. It does not support the flavor of Perl. And Perl is what's used in Alteryx. So here's that input data of wants. And one solution, making it really quick and dirty, is add a column output, and I can replace input, comma, space wants with pipe wants. And now this is a very specific single word. And when I do that, I can then use a text to columns tool. I can split output on the pipe symbol split to rows and put a browse on there and hit run. And I get 5 rows of output. And I didn't need to trim it because I was very specific about I only need to put a pipe on the things that are between sentences where space wants instead of just all wants. So this is at least a small improvement to the solution that was provided earlier. Now, what if this wasn't just the word wants? It's anything that starts with a capital letter. This solution isn't going to work. So because it's a non-working solution for everything, let me go and start thinking about what might be a solution that I can work with. So I'm going to save this and put this into a container, and I'll label the container solution 1, and we'll say that this one is fixed wants parsing. I like the margin to be none and the transparency to be 75.